Hey, welcome to a new video. When people walk down the street, they're usually used to staring ahead or looking down at their phone. But maybe you should consider looking up at the sky more often, because let's face it, sometimes mysterious things happen up there. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. Number 30. Anne Hodges was a woman who was hit by a meteorite and survived with just a bruise the size of the meteorite. This is a story that not many people can tell and earned her superhero status. On November 30th, 1954, she was hit by a meteorite and went down in history as the first person to be hit by a meteorite and survive. The woman, who was 34 years old at the time, was sleeping on her couch in her home in Alabama when the meteorite crashed through the roof. The meteorite hit her radio and bounced back towards her, causing a bruise on her body. According to experts, the chance of being hit by a meteorite is 1 in 1.6 million, which means Anne's experience was extraordinarily rare. Scientists even suggested that she had a greater chance of being hit simultaneously by a tornado, lightning, and a hurricane than being hit by a meteorite. The woman decided to keep the meteorite and later sold it in 1955 to the Alabama Museum of Natural History. To this day, the meteorite is still on display at the museum. The radio that was hit was also put on display in the museum 50 years after the incident. Number 29. In 1994, instead of raindrops, the residents of Oakville City, Washington received translucent blobs. But it didn't rain blobs once, as this happened 6 times in 3 weeks. A police officer named Lacey was on patrol when the first blob of rain happened. He thought it was ordinary rain, but when he used his windshield wipers, he realized it was sticking to his car window. According to several reports, dozens of people, dogs, and cats were actually sickened by it. Other people felt dizzy and were nauseous all the time, some of whom had to be taken to the hospital. Experts also found bacteria in the blobs, and it's believed that the blobs may have consisted of human white blood cells. So this is also a very strange event that has never had a clear answer. Number 28. Can you imagine the mass hysteria that broke out and people thought the apocalypse had arrived because it started raining? This happened somewhere in China, and it wasn't just an ordinary rainfall. Hundreds of people had to go to the hospital due to exposure. The rain lasted for a long time, and the color of the rain was dark red. Residents who saw it reported a strange smell in the air, which contributed to the eerie and unsettling atmosphere. In addition to the red rain, the rainwater also turned to a local river crimson within an hour, raising questions and speculation about what could have caused this phenomena. Scientists investigating the incident reported that the red rain and water were caused by the presence of microscopic organisms and dust particles in the atmosphere, which mixed with the natural precipitation to produce the dark red color. It's not harmful, but scientists still don't fully understand it, making it a bit of a mystery. Number 27. David McPherson Sr. spent his whole life searching for answers. What was in the mysterious white box he had found outside Moncton in New Brunswick? In 1962, he stumbled upon a mysterious white box in the wilderness that was tightly locked by the government. The box had a parachute attached to it, and David could not figure out what was in the large box for years. Years later, after he had passed away, his son discovered the truth about the white box. Classified CIA documents revealed that the box was part of a secret CIA program designed to spy on the Soviets by sending cameras into the air. This revelation brought previously unknown details to light about the scope of the CIA's secret operations during the Cold War. According to the classified documents, the project had the codename Project Aquatone and was launched in the 1950s. The program used cameras attached to high-altitude balloons and planes to take aerial photos of Soviet military sites and infrastructures. Number 26. One night in 1969 in Punta Gorda, Florida, it rained non-stop, and when the morning came, the rain was gone. But mysteriously, white golf balls remained lying around everywhere.
The residents were perplexed, and even the sheriff and the local police department had no idea why there were so many golf balls lying around. All they could do was pick up the golf balls from the ground. There were supposedly so many golf balls lying around that people had stuffed their bags full with golf balls. It's believed that a tornado touched down the night before and took the golf balls with it. Although there were no balls missing from the golf club, the fields were scattered with golf balls. This, of course, makes this event very strange.
Number 25. Although these birds don't seem to be falling from the sky, they do appear to be fleeing from something. For mysterious reasons, a swarm of black birds in Mexico began spiraling towards the ground, with most not surviving the brutal impact. The phenomenon of the birds falling from the sky has amazed people for centuries. Also known as mass bird deaths, these events involve sudden and unexplained deaths of large groups of birds. There are several possible explanations for these occurrences, including extreme weather conditions, toxic exposure, and disease outbreaks. Some experts have also suggested that solar flares, magnetic fields, or other environmental factors may play a role in these incidents. In recent years, there have been several cases of mass bird deaths, including reports of thousands of dead birds in Arkansas and Louisiana in 2011. Similar incidents have been reported in other parts of the world, including Europe and Asia. Some of the potential factors being investigated include pollution, climate change, and habitat destruction. Number 24. We've talked about all sorts of things falling from the sky, including mysterious objects and animals. But how about an actual human being? Yup, you heard that right. Cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov tragically fell from the sky on April 24, 1967. He was testing the Soyuz 1 spacecraft when it malfunctioned at one point. According to reports, he tried to manually enter the Earth, but due to various equipment failures, he was unable to do so. Despite the seriousness of the situation, Vladimir remained brave enough to provide valuable data to the Mission Control Center until the end. As he fell towards the Earth, his parachute refused to open, and he crashed to the ground from a height of 23,000 feet, or 7,000 meters. Unfortunately, he did not survive the impact, but the incident led to stricter safety protocols due to the dangers and risks involved. Vladimir was awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union, the highest honor in the country at the time. Number 23. Several people reported thunder and lightning before 3 mysterious metal balls fell from the sky, causing confusion among the local population. Military authorities quickly arrived on the scene and closed off the entire area. The largest of the balls, about the size of a basketball, crashed into a garden, while another hit a roof. The last ball was found in a nearby field. Although the incident piqued the curiosity of local residents, it's not uncommon for space debris to fall to Earth. According to NASA, about 100 tons of meteorites, asteroids, and other space debris fall to Earth every day. However, it's rare for such incidents to occur in inhabited areas, and when they do, they can pose potential dangers to humans. The incident in Vietnam, however, brought a lot of mystery with it, with people thinking that the space balls were related to extraterrestrial beings. Authorities revealed that the balls were from a Russian-made rocket, but the population remains skeptical after hearing the story and believes that it may be something else. Number 22. The residents of La Union in Lloro, Honduras feel very blessed because every year at the end of spring and at the beginning of summer, fish rain from the sky. So the people don't have to go to the store to buy fish because every year they get free fish that falls from the sky. Since the residents are very happy about this unexplained event, a festival called La Lluvia de Peces is held every year, which literally means fish rain. Many scientists have become interested in the annual phenomenon, but they have not yet been able to find out the true reason. According to some theories, the fish are carried away by strong winds or waterspouts coming from the Atlantic Ocean about 200 kilometers away from the town. But for the residents, the fish rain is simply a miracle. They believe that the hand of God gives them the fish. Number 21. At first glance, what do you think this figure is? If you think it's a fallen angel, then you agree with the majority. This figure appears to be an older woman dressed in white with wings, lying face down on the ground. People were rightfully alarmed by this image, which coincided with NASA's announcement that they had found an Earth-like planet. In case you're not familiar with it, in 2015, NASA announced the discovery of an Earth-like planet about 1,400 light-years away. The planet, known as Kepler-42b, is about 60% larger than Earth and is located in the habitable zone of its star, meaning that it has the potential to support liquid water and even possibly life. The discovery was made using the Kepler Space Telescope, which used the transit method to detect the presence of the planet. Some people claim that this figure fell from the sky and came from that planet. Others say that the figure is a doll and was placed there by someone. What's your opinion? Could this be a fallen angel? Let me know in the comments. Number 20. If there are two words that you wouldn't expect to go together, it's locust and apocalypse. A town in southern Russia was plagued by swarms of millions of locusts some time ago. Viral videos of locusts caused much fear among people who associated the swarm with plagues and disasters. Did you know that a typical locust swarm can consume as much food as 10 elephants or 2,500 people? Although scientists have been studying the phenomenon for decades, locust swarms continue to cause chaos worldwide. Locusts can travel long distances and cause destruction by attacking crops and vegetation. The problem is exacerbated in areas with unstable weather patterns, where floods and droughts create ideal breeding grounds for the insects. Locust swarms have been responsible for food shortages and economic losses in many countries, including Africa and Asia. The incident in southern Russia highlights the destructive power of these insects and the need for effective measures to prevent and control their swarms. Believe it or not, although the swarms themselves are frightening, locusts play a vital role in the food chain. Number 19. In 2021, the people of the Italian region of Sicily were startled when black stones fell from the sky. These black stones were from Etna, one of the most active volcanoes in Europe. The sound of the stones was terrifying, and the cause of their fall was attributed to an unusual effect of the eruption. Volcanic ash was blown and scattered everywhere, covering the city as if it were raining with unusual black stones. This was not the first time Sicily had experienced black stones falling from the sky due to the Etna volcano. Unfortunately, the eruption of Etna had a major impact on the city and its inhabitants, as well as the environment. The black stones fell on roofs, roads, cars, and everything in between. This incident highlights the destructive power of nature and how often we are at its mercy. Many people shared their experiences on social media, saying it was a frightening event that they did not want to experience again. Number 18. The Bible describes blood rain, but apparently it also occurs in the real world. In the past, our ancestors said that blood rain was a bad omen or a warning from the gods. But according to scientists who have done their research, blood rain occurs for different reasons. Sometimes it's because red dust gets mixed into cloud formations. Other times it happens when the spores of algae mix in the air. But the most mysterious event of blood rain happened in 2018 in Choco, Colombia. It reportedly rained for about half an hour in the La Sierra community. A priest who lived in the area reportedly said that the red rain was indeed blood. This event unfortunately remains a great mystery to even this day. Number 17. A crew of a fishing boat claimed that a cow fell from the sky, causing their ship to sink. You may have heard of cows being picked up from the ground by tornadoes, but when the sky is clear and you're in the middle of the ocean, it's unheard of. The Russian authorities were skeptical when the crew of a fishing boat claimed that a cow had landed on their boat. They were even imprisoned because of their claims. However, the story of the crew turned out to be true. According to reports, a crew member of a cargo plane accidentally allowed a cow on board. When the crew of the cargo plane encountered difficulties and faced a difficult choice between saving their own lives or that of a cow, they decided to throw the cow out of the plane. The cow fell thousands of feet or meters and landed on the fishing boat. Although this story initially seemed too bizarre to be true, the truth eventually came to light. Number 16. The Fukang meteorite is known as one of the rarest meteorites in the world. This gemstone, which fell near Fukang, China in the year 2000, comes from another planet and is believed to be over 4.5 billion years old. The meteorite is composed of iron, nickel, and a variety of minerals, including olivine and pyroxene. Its unique crystal structure and gem-like appearance have made it a highly sought-after collectible, with some pieces fetching high prices at auctions. According to a geologist named Alan Rubin, the Fukang meteorite is exceptional because it provides insight into the information of planets. It's almost like a time capsule of early stages of planet formation, he said. The meteorite was discovered by a farmer in the Gobi Desert, who saw the unusual rock sticking out of the ground. It was excavated and later sold to a trader in the United States for reportedly $2 million. It's also one of the largest stone-iron meteorites ever discovered, weighing in at a whopping 370 kilograms. Number 15. The internet is full of weird and creepy videos and photos, but what I'm about to show you is quite disturbing. In the photo on the left, you can see what is called the Pigman, which is supposed to be a half-human, half-pig creature. But that's not all. To enhance the fear in your stomach when you see the photo, on the right, you see a sky full of falling angels, or demons. The myth of the Pigman is a popular legend that has been shared online for several years. It originated from an image of a man with a pig's head, reportedly taken in the late 1800s. According to the story, the Pigman was a scientist who experimented with pigs and eventually lost his mind, attaching a pig's head to his own body. While some people don't believe in legends, others believe that they are part of ancient cultures and the history that comes with them. There is a phenomenon known as an echo chamber, where individuals consume and share content that reinforces their existing beliefs. Do you think that the Pigman existed? And what do you think the creatures on the right side of the photo are? Let me know in the comments. Number 14. In February 2021, the city of Sanchor in Rajasthan, India was shocked by a loud bang that echoed through the area. Residents rushed outside to see what was happening and found a huge crater in the ground. Some people claim to have seen an object falling from the sky that was responsible for the incident. According to the latest reports, the Indian government concluded that the object was a small meteorite. The object was said to have been quite hot, so authorities had to wait for it to cool down before they could conduct their investigation. Further research revealed the composition of the object, which included metal properties such as germanium, platinum, nickel, iron, cobalt, and niobium. The estimated weight of the object was about 2.5 kilograms, and it had no harmful effect on human life. However, there's no official explanation of what an object with these metals could be. While some people claim that it was a meteorite, others believe that the object was sent to Earth by extraterrestrial beings. Number 13. If you already thought it was strange that spiders could fall from the sky, how about snakes? On January 15, 1877, a newspaper in the American city of Memphis wrote about a bizarre incident where snakes were raining down. This news became very controversial at the time. According to the newspaper, Memphis was hit by a heavy rainstorm, and the snakes may have been carried away by the air. The snakes were mainly garter snakes that are about 30 centimeters long. According to the story, thousands fell from the sky and covered several sidewalks, gutters, and even gardens. For some reason, the snake shower only moved over an area of 2 blocks, and it lasted about 15 minutes. Other stories tell that it wasn't snakes, but large worms that fell from the sky. It remains unclear to this day how this could have happened. And do you have any idea? Let me know in the comments. Number 12. In December 2020, a blue unidentified flying object was observed falling from the sky and landing in the ocean off the coast of Oahu, Hawaii. The incident was witnessed by multiple individuals. Some captured videos and photos of the bizarre event, while others called authorities to report it. However, no one could explain the nature of the blue UFO or where it could have possibly came from. Additionally, at the time, authorities stated that they could not locate any aircraft matching the description of the UFO, and there were no reported aircraft incidents in the area. Honolulu police also stated that there were no related incidents known. The lack of official statements or any definitive evidence led to various speculations, including the possibility of a meteor, space debris, or military operations. But no explanation has convinced everyone of what happened. The sighting of the blue UFO in Hawaii remains a mystery to this day, and it makes you wonder if it's related to extraterrestrial beings. What do you think? Number 11. The next story comes from Siberia, where people were amazed when they suddenly saw gold and silver and a few diamonds falling from the sky. This happened on March 15, 2018, when a cargo plane had to refuel at the Yakutsk airport to take off. The cargo plane was carrying 9.3 tons of gold, platinum, and diamonds. And yes, these were real gold bars mined from the Kopal mine in Russia's Chukotka region.
What happened was that during takeoff, the cargo doors suddenly flew open, causing everything to fall out of the air and onto the ground. The cargo plane had a total value of $378 million on board. Fortunately, technicians were able to recall the plane to the airport. You would think that people were trying to take the precious metals that had fallen to the ground back to their homes. But according to the spokesperson for the mining company, the entire shipment was reportedly recovered.
Number 10. One of the things you would never expect to fall from the sky are sharks. At first, you might think this was a science fiction story, but it can happen when you own a house by the ocean. Sue Bowser was one such homeowner who was surprised when her children discovered a small dogfish shark in their backyard. It's very rare to find a shark so far from the ocean, but Sue believes a bird dropped the shark when it lost its grip. Her experience reminds us that wild animals can enter residential areas in unexpected ways. While it's unusual to find sharks so far from the ocean, this was not the first time it had been observed. Sharks, especially small ones, can occasionally be found in shallow water and coastal areas during the summer months. While homeowners who live far from the ocean may not think about the possibility of sharks in their backyard, those who live near coastal areas are aware of it. Sue's theory is that sharks haven't suddenly evolved to walk or swim on land, so she believes it's the fault of a bird. Number 9.
If you don't like spiders, then a spider rain should probably be your worst nightmare. And yes, spider rains really do exist according to experts. A spider rain once took place in the Atherton Tableland region of Australia, where residents witnessed millions of spiders falling from the sky. Afterwards, a lot of threads and spiders could be seen on people's houses and in their gardens. According to a researcher, this behavior of spiders is actually called ballooning. The spiders climb into a high place and then release one or more wires, leaving them to the air currents and floating everywhere. It's said to have been observed in several spider species. It's just that it's quite unusual to see millions of spiders ballooning together. However, this only happens in a group when the spiders belong to the same colony, or when they're forced to move themselves by the weather.
Number 8. Poison is probably one of the most dangerous and frightening things that can fall from the sky. But how did this happen, you might wonder? The Seveso disaster was a chemical accident that occurred in an Italian factory in 1976. Nearby residents were exposed to extremely high levels of toxic chemical called dioxin. The incident was so terrible that it led to widespread panic and evacuation of the surrounding area. The health consequences of exposure to this chemical were severe and caused skin conditions, nerve damage, and risks to pregnancies and child health. Research conducted in the aftermath of the disaster showed that this was one of the worst industrial disasters ever experienced. The aftermath of the Seveso disaster also led to the development of regulations aimed at preventing future accidents. Number 7.
Have you ever heard of blue ice? And no, I'm not talking about the color of the ice being blue. In fact, blue ice is a frozen mixture that leaks from the toilets on commercial airplanes, where people go to do their needs. Because of the high altitude, this gets frozen and becomes an icy ball, which is called blue ice. In 2018, a block of blue ice fell in a village in Haryana, India. When the villagers suddenly heard a loud thud, they hurriedly went to inspect the material that fell from the sky. They were so convinced that it was something alien. Some even took a piece of the blue ice home, where they kept it in their refrigerator. I think you can imagine what their reactions were when they realized what it actually was. Airlines are normally not allowed to discharge their toilet waste into the air, but unfortunately, sometimes leaks do happen.
Number 6. A recent incident involved the launch of a Chinese satellite, followed by the sudden and unexpected fall of debris towards the Kachin state. The debris itself was enormous in size, comparable to that of a car, and landed in a jade mine. This resulted in a thunderous impact that was heard by nearby villagers. A giant metal object landed in a mud pool, prompting officials to investigate the cause of the crash. However, there was a doubt whether it was from a satellite, as a piece of metal with Chinese script was found nearby. Although no concrete conclusion has been drawn, it's speculated that the debris is a result of a rocket or rocket launch. Such incidents raise important questions about space debris and the dangers that can arise from its unpredicted fall. I wouldn't want such a large piece of space debris to fall on my head. Number 5.
Normally, the snow falls from the sky in a whitish color, but snow with different colors is probably something you never heard of. This bizarre moment took place in 2007 in Siberia, when it rained orange snow for days. But it's said to have happened not only in Siberia, but also in other cities nearby. The phenomenon covered an area of 1,500 square kilometers and affected about 27,000 residents. It was reported that the snow smelled and was oily. Upon further investigation, scientists discovered that the snow contained 4 times the normal amount of iron, but it was said to be non-toxic. The cause was unclear, although some say it must have been from a rocket launch or a nuclear accident. But most think it probably must have been caused by industrial pollution. Colored snow has also occurred in various parts of the world. In 1879, it once snowed yellow in Bethlehem and in Pennsylvania. And in 1895, it rained pink snow in Alma, Colorado. There was even black snow once in Kazakhstan.
Number 4. The cold weather in Norway can provide optimal conditions for winter activities, such as skiing and snowboarding. However, recently, something extraordinary happened that caught the attention of a biologist named Karsten Ørsted. In the midst of the dark winter season, an army of worms appeared on the snow-covered ground. The man was fascinated by his discovery of worms in the snow and decided to document the unusual phenomenon. According to him, there were approximately 20 worms per 3 square feet, or per square meter. It was a strange discovery for him, as earthworms are not native to the Norwegian environment due to the acidity of the soil and extreme cold. It's speculated that these worms survived the snowfall, or were brought there by migratory birds. This man says they seemed lifeless, but after he touched them, they came back to life. However, it remains a mystery where the worms came from. But according to most people, it was the wind. It's still a creepy thought to see worms falling from the sky, don't you think so? Number 3. The Kentucky Meat Shower was an event on March 3, 1876, in which pieces of red meat suddenly began to fall from the sky out of nowhere. Kentucky residents wished it might have been steak or barbecue meat raining down, but no. Unfortunately, it was raw meat. To this day, scientists cannot figure out where this came from. The pieces of meat that were about 5 centimeters in size fell mostly on Mrs. Crouch's farm. She was cleaning her porch that day when she suddenly witnessed this mysterious event, and she thought it might have been a sign from God. The residents of the town were so stunned by this unexplained phenomenon that some of them decided to taste the meat. Some claimed it tasted like beef, while others said it must have been lamb or deer meat. Other scientists say it may have been some birds that didn't feel well and vomited the meat, although this has never been proven. Number 2. Some bizarre and mysterious phenomena have occurred in remote villages in Spain. The latest event occurred in Murcia, a southern region of Spain, where several cases of space balls were found scattered throughout the region over a few days. These large and heavy balls, weighing approximately 14 kilograms, were found in 3 different locations in the village. The discovery of these objects have amazed and alarmed the local population, and the authorities immediately launched an investigation. As the origin of the objects could not be determined, a chemical, biological, and nuclear protocol was set up to investigate. Even after extensive testing and analysis of the balls, no definitive answer was found, and the findings were never made public. People in the region remain curious and intrigued by the incident, and to this day, the mystery of where the space balls came from remains. Number 1. Depending on where you walk, a frozen iguana could fall on you from the sky. This may sound like a joke, but it was actually a real event, and beware, a frozen iguana can still bite. The phenomenon of frozen iguanas falling during cold temperatures is a fascinating occurrence observed in certain parts of the world. When iguanas are exposed to unusually cold temperatures, they enter a state of temporary paralysis, making them stiff and immobile. The phenomenon is caused by the reptile's inability to regulate their body temperature, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the iguanas are dead. If iguanas are sitting on a tree when this happens, their temporary paralysis can cause them to lose their grip and fall to the ground, which could be dangerous for anybody nearby. Although the falling of iguanas can be alarming, experts warn not to touch them as they can quickly regain their ability to move and may scratch or bite in self-defense. Have you ever seen anything falling from the sky? If so, what was it? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.